Hey, everybody, it's Steve Moran, and we are live with my good friend Doug, the BTC Guru Yates.
Hello,
What's
Steve.
going
Good
on?
morning. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, we missed yesterday. I got to be out playing golf, and you had the
I had a
unfortunate fun
dental
of going to a
appointment. Not
dentist,
fun.
huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were doing fun stuff. I was getting drilled by a dentist.
Oh, God, there's nothing I really hate worse, I think, than sitting in a dental chair.
Yeah, me too.
So, a lot of cool things happening in the Bitcoin world, huh?
Yeah, it is. I posted two things yesterday in lieu of our live stream to keep everybody, informed and such. But there are two important things. One was a two-parter with Michael Sayer, the CEO of MicroStrategies. So if you want to get a master's in blockchain and Bitcoin, go to Google, type in MicroStrategies, Michael Saylor, say Saylor, and watch every interview, everything that guy says. He's an MIT graduate. And his knowledge of economics and how economies work and how currencies work and how all it interacts into the financial world is off the charts. And when you watch that, you will have a master's in Bitcoin and blockchain. Highly recommend it. That's why I posted it there. This lady that interviewed him she threw a lot of curveballs at him, and he destroys it. He's so knowledgeable. I mean, he talked about what everybody's talking about. A lot of it's a lot of criminals use this, and he went over. He answered that really good. It takes so much electricity; it's a drain on the electricity supply. He debunked that. He just shredded that. And he had the real stats and all that stuff. Stuff that I can't even remember.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing to watch.
Yeah, it's amazing the adoption. We continue to talk about adoption, and people doing this. Last week, I think I told you, the number one pick in the NFL draft decided to he's going to take his entire signing bonus in Bitcoin, in digital currency. And then I read this morning that somebody on the Kansas City Chiefs, one of their offensive tackles, and this guy, he's one of these guys that he's been in the league, I think, for 7 or 8 years, but he's a minimum salary kind of a guy, which is still probably 900,000 to $1.2 million maybe a year. But
yeah,
he has to work his ass off all the time for his job, and he doesn't have one of these big giant, $20 million a year contracts. So he's trying to be smart with his money. And, when he signed his agreement for 2021, his deal is for his entire contract to be paid to him in Bitcoin, which is pretty interesting. He said, look, he said, this is not he says, I don't have mounds of money. He says, this is a long-term play.
Mm-hmm.
He says, it's a long-term play. And he says, I just feel way better getting money than if I just put US dollars in there. He goes, then I got to figure out what am I going to do with the dollars? And I got a whole bunch of other people can try and take advantage of me, or all kinds of other stuff that could happen. If I just put it right over there, it's gone.
It's a smart move. It kind of protects yourself against yourself, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it protects yourself against inflation. It protects yourself, against, and it protects you against, the other wolves out there. I mean, the challenge is a lot of these professional athletes that go out and they make a whole lot of money. The first thing that they really don't understand is what to do and how money works and things like that. The wrong guy gets their hooks in.
Hanger honors, leech off of them, and basically you could go broke with those people taking those people's advice.
Yeah, you get the wrong kind of financial advice, and you start losing $1 million here and $1 million there, and all these other things, and it's just it all adds up.
It does. Now, this brings up an interesting point that I've been all the headlines that we're looking at, and with Saylor and the other people that I watch and such. There's a new system coming in. It's a blockchain based financial system worldwide. In the old system of control of you and I, we have to be employees, so the people that are at the top of the situation can basically suck our labor resources, which is the only real resource that's on the earth right now is us. And so they kind of have manipulated our society to say we need that labor force, and that will be our asset, and then we'll suck all the money out of that and keep that labor force. We'll give them a little increase every year, a bonus here, a performance increase, just to keep them out, to keep them, just above the water levels right here. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
And, our raises, they say, oh, it's an inflational raise. So they control inflation. And so what's happening really behind the scenes is in the past, we'd get these raises, but our buying power was still going down every year. It's going down. We can afford less. We're making more and more, and we can afford less and less. And that's by design. So this new shift, this on the blockchain, the Bitcoin is replacing that system, and it's too far gone. They can't stop it. It's going to replace it. The good part is people like Steve and I and the people watching here, you have a chance to really change your financial situation. There's going to be so much transfer of wealth from the existing entities and people to a lot of just ordinary blue collar people that are smart enough
that are paying attention.
Yeah, they're exactly paying attention and getting themselves educated, which is why we're here.
There's so many different opportunities that are coming out. Doug and I were talking about one this morning. We're going to do a little more research on it before we talk to you guys about it. But there's so many different opportunities out there that, if you just find the right one, and I mean, you could literally $200 could change your life. Okay.
Yep.
And there are so many of these things coming down the road. I mean, there's so many digital currencies out there that have made 5, 10, 20,000% returns in the last, since 2021 started.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And there's crazy ones like Dogecoin, which, I don't suggest it because it's kind of nothing's behind it, but that doesn't mean you can't make money on it if you're lucky. If you get it low and sell it high, more power to you. If you have a crystal ball, that's awesome. But there's other great, Bitcoin, as far as storage of wealth, it's better than gold. It's better than real estate. It's 1,000 times better than just cash, because cash devaluates quickly. The buying power of cash siphons out of it so fast. So you gotta store your wealth. That's why these corporations all over the world are taking their excess cash and putting it, fiat cash, and putting it into Bitcoin. And sometimes Ethereum, but mainly Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the long-term storage of wealth. You can't beat it.
Yeah,
and in my mind,
it's the only one out there that has that algorithmic scarcity.
Right, exactly. And it's built in an offset to inflation. It's programmed to offset inflation and to keep up with it and surpass it, basically. And so, with my little corporations that I have I stored the excess cash in cryptocurrency and in Bitcoin. The ones that I really hold, it just, as a personal disclosure, it just helps in education, is Bitcoin's our number one. Ethereum and Litecoin are right there with a close second. And then I hold some BAT and some Divi, which are, smaller alternate coins. But here's what I do is I'll take my gains from the Bitcoin. So I'm preserving my capital, and I'll take the gains and I'll roll those into these smaller coins, which are a little more risky. But like you said, the gains could be tremendous.
Yeah, the upside is so huge.
Yeah, and so you leverage your position, and then that's why we're here. That's why we're talking. That's why you and I are talking, so other people can try the same thing, because it's working for us.
Yeah, hey, like we were talking, the Dogecoin is, when Elon Musk was on Saturday Night Live, and a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with Doge, what's going to happen with Doge, and he came out that he had Asperger's and stuff, and didn't mention Doge, so that the price went down. But then I saw right after that, now he's decided that they're going to start accepting Dogecoin as payment for the SpaceX.
Yeah, so go up to
go up to Mars or something like that. So.
But that's a lot of Dogecoin, man.
That's going to be a lot of Dogecoin to do that. But
you're going to take it like $300,000 or $250,000, right?
Yeah. So you don't need a few rides to keep making that Dogecoin keep going up in value, right?
That's true.
You get guys like that start to do stuff, and that's why when you pay attention, you start to see all the stuff that's happening out there. You start to realize sometimes that. Sometimes these coins don't have to have so much practicality, but if you get a Elon Musk and a Mark Cuban and, somebody putting it in Times Square, different kinds of things, you can get a kind of a visceral reaction from a lot of people that will just go in and do something, right? And they're moving the market, literally. They're market movers, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of opportunity in some of these things to, find something early and just throw a little bit of money at it. It's not like, if you want to go make some money in the stock market, I mean, you got to throw a whole bunch of money at it. I mean, you could throw $100 at something and go make yourself 50 grand sometimes. It's just unbelievable what can happen in this space.
So, I'm down here in Southern California, and then there's a lot of kids around. When I say kids, like 16, 18, below 20, they're teenagers. And they're all they ask me questions every time I talk to them about Bitcoin and Doji and Ethereum. And what do you think about this? And I always tell them, if you're going to go into it, stay at it. Doji, I tell them about Doji being a little bit risky. But if you're going to go to Ethereum, if you're going to Bitcoin, hang on to it, set it, forget it type of thing. I go, and your future will be tremendously bright. So they're taking they're taking their little, we're talking $10, $20 sometimes, $100, packing it away in Bitcoin, making smart moves. And, every time it goes up, I see them, they high five me and stuff like that. It's great. That generation is they're going to take it to the very next level. We're introducing it to them, and they're going to actually take it to the next level, which is, I'm very excited to see what happens with it.
Well, yeah, this is, the cool thing is we're kind of past the stage of early adopters. That's where a lot of times things, kind of either go off course and maybe they're not going to ultimately get there, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people get into early adoption and then, there isn't a lot of adoption. But this, we're past the early adoption. Okay. We're in the full-blown adoption phase now.
Yeah.
And this phase is going to last a long time because, there's a lot to learn in this, where are people learning it, right? First of all, people have to understand that there's something that they don't know that they need to understand. And, then they've got to figure out where they're going to learn it. And that's why there's, getting into this space is just going to be so highly lucrative for the people to come in and pay attention and really get into this and think about it and watch, listen, learn, ask questions, and, it's just so easy, so much easier right now to do this than it's ever been in our lifetime. That's for sure. Right, Doug?
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I posted yesterday on the pages, on the Facebook pages, is just a little clip of an article that was in CoinDesk, I think, about how all these exchanges and these wallets are preparing for a huge, when I say huge, I'm talking trillions of dollars influx of money coming into the blockchain, the majority of it into the Bitcoin. They're bracing for it because they know it's going to happen any minute now. So, we've been talking about how the corporations are moving in, and it's in the second quarter of this year. They started that. That's about $1.5 trillion. And then, last week we talked about how the retail banks are now opening up services you can buy CDs in Bitcoin. And so that whole influx, they think could be $1 trillion to $2 trillion. There's treasury of different countries and moving in. There's treasuries of local municipalities moving in, and that could be close to another $1 trillion. So there is up to $5 trillion moving in this year into Bitcoin, into Ethereum, but mainly Bitcoin. And so they're bracing for this. So I truly believe when the spring breaks, when the pressure is so great, it can only take off that it's going to fly. We're going to pass through. We'll just look at Ethereum for the last 2 weeks as an example. It's been hitting an all-time high.
I love it. Every day I get up and go check my Jack's Liberty.
Yeah.
Whoa, I love it. I love Ethereum.
Yeah. So it's been hitting an all-time high every day. That's going to happen. Ethereum's now, Bitcoin's right behind it. Bitcoin's just taking a little breather right now. It's going to start hitting all-time highs every day, every week, because of the buying pressure that's happening.
Well, yeah, it's like we talked about with Elon Musk with Tesla. They bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, then they sold 10% of it. Okay, and there was $1 million net gain.
Yeah.
On cash that was sitting there that they were not using for anything, and they've got another 400 million that's earned that's already been sitting there now that they just haven't cash that they have at his fingertips, right? And
Like go to Square. I mean,
CEOs
Square.
get paid on earnings. If you got $100 million in the bank, you don't get paid on that. That's just a number on the balance sheet,
Yeah.
And that's why, being able to turn that in, that's why these municipalities, like you were talking about, cities, states, local governments, everybody's sitting there trying to figure out, okay, look, how can we, cash is not good. It's not going to get us anywhere. It's just keep worth it less and less all the time. So, and Bitcoin is the one that they're going to put their money into. You know?
Absolutely. And here's what potentially can happen, in my mind. In the this is a very realistic vision of the future. Local municipalities can put their funds they have into Bitcoin and such, and through the gains, they can pay for new streets and not have to add additional taxes to their citizens. And the citizens got to demand this. So it's very important that you stay educated and pay attention to what's happening locally, because you could get rid of all local taxes if they put the budget they have into Bitcoin, and through the gains they lower down. They basically keep paying it back by paying for the services with the gains, and you don't have to pay more taxes. So that's going to happen. That's a strong potential. But we the people have to keep these municipalities, local, cities, counties, states. We got to keep them honest and keep them using this technique to help all of us as general, not to put more money in their pockets, but to help pay for the services that we kind of expect here in the United States, which is beautiful roads.
Well, instead of trying to figure out, having meetings about figuring out what we got to cut back and what we can't do.
Right.
You use the money that's in your coffers that generate more to where you can do more. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what they should be doing. At the end of the day, unfortunately, governments and city municipalities and things, should be run like a business, but unfortunately they're not. They're just given a budget every year. Your CEO, if you're an entrepreneur, you don't get a budget. It's like, you got to go start off with a budget. It's like,
if you want to get reelected on city council or mayor, give a kickback to all your citizens in your town with the gains that because you made a smart decision of putting some of the treasury in Bitcoin. That'll get you reelected many, many times.
Many times. They'll see that you're doing smart things. And also kind of thinking outside the box, doing things that are not, what was it? Just finding out what others are doing and kind of doing the opposite. That typically works in almost every business and almost every market. Is you don't follow the masses. You gotta kind of go the other way. Life's kind of counterintuitive.
Yeah. If you look at the past and the history, all the financial giants were all contrarians. Michael Saylor, he's a contrarian. He states it, and that's why he was the first one in the large corporate world to jump in. And he says, you can't do. This is a great quote. I think it was from those interviews that I posted. You can't do 1 hour of research. You can't do 10 hours of research. It's around 100 hours of research into Bitcoin, just Bitcoin and blockchain, not all the other ones. Then you're getting it. Then you understand the power of what's happening in it. You can't be uneducated in this, because, usually when you're uneducated, you say that doesn't work. No, the answer is no, because or it doesn't work. But you get educated, you can realize the power here. So that's why education in this realm, and that's why Steve and I are here, and why it's so important.
Yeah, you just don't know what you don't know at the end of the day. And there's a whole lot of people out there. There's a whole lot of opportunities. And again, those opportunities are going to be, the more that you learn about this, the more we can help others, move into this business, because, every business is ultimately going to be moving in this direction, to where they're, on the blockchain, because they're going to save tremendous amount of money. They're going to have all the transparency. They're going to be able to utilize, artificial intelligence and different things along those lines with it. So, the opportunities to move people in, and, a lot of people think that, man, you have to have some sort of a degree to go help other people. And that's, at the end of the day, you just need to know a little bit more than they don't know.
Right.
I think one of the greatest things one of the funniest things I remember seeing was, you remember the movie Catch Me If You Can?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When the FBI, when they finally got that guy, Leonardo DiCaprio, what he was playing, they asked him, they said, you know what, how did you pull off, you were teaching advanced sociology at BYU, how
Right.
did you possibly pull that off? And he said, all I did was grab the syllabus and read a week ahead. It's like, he says, at the end of the day, to help other business owners out, you only got to be a chapter or two ahead of where they are. You just got
Right.
to know a little bit more than what they do,
Yep.
and go out and help moving people in the direction. The more you do that, the more comfortable you get with doing it also.
Yeah.
So,
And one of the things that we're providing, we've been talking about this, and we're working through all the kinks, and we'll be sharing that, very soon, about how you could take what you're learning here and tell others and be able to earn a little bit of Bitcoin and earn while you're learning.
That's
That's our motto here at Bitcoin Headlines. It's Steve and I's goal is to help you earn, and we got a lot of different ways to do it, from small, medium to large.
Right.
And we're going to be sharing that with you. We're going through the same process. We launched this just to provide some great content and education, because for me, it's very selfish, because I believe the more people that know about Bitcoin and blockchain, the stronger and stronger and very defensible it gets. And so the education to me is important for the longevity of Bitcoin and blockchain. And I'm in 100% both professionally and personally. So that's why we're providing this content.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, what we share with you guys is that not always going to be just about Bitcoin or blockchain. It's going to be about developing a business. It's going to be about being able to use live media like this to go generate and build an audience of people that will ultimately hopefully grow to know, like, and trust you, and maybe want to do business with you.
Yeah.
And that's something that Facebook gives you a platform where you can go out and it's like you have your own TV show, and you get to go just do your own show whenever you want. And if you go out there, the longer that you're out there and the more time that you're out there and the more engagement that you get with the community there, the more Facebook just keeps sending more people that look like the people that are watching your stuff. So it's like, it's amazing how you can make this all work. So, I mean, there's no limitations to where you guys can ultimately do with this. And so we're going to be helping you out with Bitcoin, blockchain, digital currencies and business and, boom, how to really take this and have an impact with it, how to do something, be able to do. There's so much power in being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want, just without having to worry about, things.
Absolutely.
And want everybody to be able to experience that, because it's a great place to be.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be able to teach you things about how to use capture pages, how to use autoresponders, how to generate traffic on the internet, and it could be in any business, any vertical. You've used it for dental, and I've used it for just basically internet marketing, and then then bring the blockchain information into it and train people about that or whatever. Be able to follow up and help educate and create groups that with groups of people that you can leave, and then mastermind groups, and then physical meeting of mastermind groups. And the sky's the limit. With Steve and I, between the two of us, we've pretty much done almost all of it. And done it bad, good, and great. We've been very successful. We've worked through the School of Hard Knocks to be able to present stuff and create environments and information and a information product that people like. And then we want to pass that on and let you do the same thing in your area of the world.
Absolutely. So I think that's about all we got time for today. We got to jump and do a few other things here. Anything else you want to add for today? But we will definitely be back tomorrow morning, guys. And we got to have something real cool to show you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to you guys again.
All right.